The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we welcome PWBA Superstar Daria Pajak to the show. She was a 2017 Rookie of the Year and won her very first title on her very first show. She is an internationally renowned superstar, and we can't wait to talk to her. Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. starts now.
Cousin Cinco? Who the is that?
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledger here.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Similarly does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Had it this past Tuesday night, by the way. This is episode number 163. God, we've been through 163 of these already. I can't believe we're still doing this show. I can't believe people still tune in to see this show. It's pretty remarkable. Let's see who we got in the chat before we bring in our co-hosts. And we have a very, very special guest tonight as well. We got Emerald Sin. What's going on, brother? We got Bowling with Diallo. What's up? What's up? Billy M's here. Chuck Ritchie, a.k.a. Cousin Cinco. We got Crambone in the house. What's going on, bro? Precision diesel injection, urethane. We're going to get into that tonight because that is, once again, a hotbed. And it's causing quite the stir in the bowling world. Our resident statistician and reporter, Nico Puhar. What's going on, brother? We missed you last week. Hope everything's going well. I do. That's right.
I do.
We love Kyle. Chuck Ritchie's getting in on it, too. I still haven't put the poll up on how we're supposed to spell I do. Alex Bermudez, good evening from behind the drill press in Modesto, California. What's up, brother? Last week at my fair, my daughter won novice rabbit showmanship and took third in the champion drive for sheep. She has never advanced until this year. Hashtag proud dad. That's awesome, bro. Congratulations to your daughter. Pete Cow's in the house. What's up, brother? And we got Stangman 78, the usual, are all here. Unfortunately, my first co-host is here as well. He is the man with the golden mask. He is the resident doctor of Straight Up 5, the house hack from Howell Lanes, Dr. Ocho. What's up, Doc? Hey, look, I'm working on mine too. Look at that.
No, go ahead. Take him out. We can see what polio folk look like and what jacked folk look like. Just saying. This is what we call normies, or even, and then we call jack to the max. Just saying.
No, I'm good with that. Like,
you're there. You're right there. No, get him up. Get him up. No, you're right. I'm agreeing with you. Come on, get him up. We're good. Let's go. Yep. Hell yeah.
A little bit of a.
You're there, man. It's just you're super close. I appreciate it. Maybe your neck is in your biceps right now. Just saying. Any hoodles. Rob, we got a good show tonight, man.
We got a banger tonight. I'm super excited to have our guests on. But before we do that, I want to see the guy.
Anyway, why are we starting so late? What? I don't do this shit.
We are accommodating our special guest.
I did this for somebody.
She's on mountain time. She's up in the mountains. And I'm
a survivalist. I know this shit.
Yes, of course you do. Is there somebody sitting next to you?
No, why?
I'm just wondering.
Bring in your third guest.
There he is. Johnny Petraglia Jr. What's going on, JPJ?
Another perfect day at the Ocho residence. Immediately after this show, definitely diving into that pool. Couldn't be happier for our guest tonight. Have so many questions. It's fantastic. And Rob, thank you so much for taking care of it. And also Schlem, I'm assuming he had something to do with our guest tonight.
Yes.
Thanks for always taking care of me for my entire bowling career. And thank you for yet again one of the most special guests our show has to offer. So before you even do that, I just want to say again, Rad Rob, thank you for all you do. 163 episodes. That's partially over 3 years of just once a week, man. The three of us get together, and that's my favorite part about this show. And the luxury we have tonight is just beyond words for me.
Thank you for all you
do. Other than the flexing in front of, I believe, a dad that's Mr. Universe, which we'll get into something like that, which is the reason I'm wearing a button up this week and not showing what I did work on for like 6 years.
That's fair.
And then laid off. So, but always a pleasure to see everybody here in the chat, all the friends of the show. Thank you all so much for being here.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
Troy Lance in the house. Troy and Parker fucking killed it today.
Well, actually, real quick, you said Parker's here?
No, Troy and Parker
Troy's
killed
in,
it.
But he said Troy and Parker killed it.
They're killing it. They're killing it right
I don't think Parker knows how to get on the internet.
The fact that you even said Troy is killing it, that means he's back on the lanes.
Yes, he is.
Which is the greatest thing in the world to hear. Troy, I don't know if you have my new cell phone number, but please call me. And if you don't, I'll call yours.
He'll put it in the chat right now.
That's enough. I will. You know what? May as well. But no, respectfully, no bullshit. I am so stoked I have so many questions for our guest tonight. So many. What about you?
I do.
All right.
And also, it's going to be DEW. It's DEW. We've already got that convinced.
Okay.
It's that we're working on, people. Pay attention, you freaking lackeys in the chat.
Before we bring in our special guest, as always, for our first-time guests, we do have a highlight package of the one and only Daria Pajak.
Worried about when I bowled with her, we talked about a lot of things because I can't say enough about the Weber program. But this right here, 6 pins to win her first PWBA title and take her now to the level of all the other girls she was talking about. That's pretty awesome. Pretty inspiring.
Needs 6 for the win. Has 8. Has the win. Daria Pajak, only 24 years old, has won her first career PWBA Tour title. What a moment for the young star from Pila, Poland. So confident, unflappable, and why not convert the split at the end? PWBA Greater Detroit Open champion. Her first career show means her first career title. And another Weber grad has won on tour.
2 clean games, her last 2 clean games to win her title. That's pretty awesome right there.
She's got the trophy. And now part of tour history. Daria Pajak wins on the PWBA Tour. Advances and has dethroned the reigning Empress herself, Hall of Famer Kelly Kulik. New royalty in Portland. You may take a seat at the royal throne. You need a crown, you need a scepter, you need a robe, your majesty.
Deep breath. You've made this a million times in your career. You can make it with your eyes closed. Your Majesty, the Empress
retains the throne. What a finish from Portland tonight. Awesome. Just awesome. Still the Empress. Daria Pajak has the scepter and the crown on her side.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Polish princess, Daria Pajak. Daria, good evening. Thanks for being on the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me. It always makes me smile when you say Polish princess, because that was the first and the last time I was called that on the show that you just showed. Yeah, very good job, by the way. Nice highlights. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
And,
I did it.
I'm very impressed with how you pronounce my last name. You must be like a top 3 people that pronounce it the best here. So
I don't do that very often. I
can't even say the word thank. So,
but I've been practicing. So no, it's good to have you here, Johnny. Lead it off, buddy.
Daria, first off, first and foremost, pleasure having you here tonight, and thank you so much. It's an absolute honor. I'm gonna start the way we usually start when it comes to talking to current legends and future legends in the sport. What got you into bowling? Why are you a bowler?
I think my story is very different from other people that you spoke to, because I'm from Poland, and the first bowling center was built in 1999. And quick backstory is that we were under communism until 89. So the country was not developing at all. People were just surviving. And after 89, everything blew up, and the first bowling center was opened in 99. And that was in one of the bigger gyms within where I lived, and that's kind of how it snowballed from there. Just let's go bowl for fun, or let's go have bowl league for fun. Let's buy a ball, or there's a kids tournament, let's bowl that. So it's basically my parents and I, we started bowling at the same time, and we bowl till this day.
When did you realize how good you were at bowling?
I don't think I ever felt that I was very good, because the thing I liked about bowling is that in my 6-year-old head, sport for me was always a team sport, because all you can see is like volleyball on TV back home, soccer, handball. Everything was a team sport, basketball. And I never felt like that's something for me, because I like the independence of the sport when you do it on your own. So bowling was something that really intrigued me. The fact that I can practice and get better and there is no one that I have to like collaborate with, like it's all me. Whether I bowl bad or good, it's just me. And I really liked it. I liked the progress. I liked that my progress depended on what I was seeing in front of me, not on my opponent, for example, right? So I think that I just got hooked on the idea that the more I practice, the better I get. So I always felt like I wasn't like really good, but I felt like I was working very hard for it. And I think that's slowly how I got where I am right now.
Is bowling your first love when it comes to sport, or was there something before it that
100%
you
bowling.
into bowling?
Yeah, no, it's 100% bowling because I was 6 years old when I first went bowling. And once we got into it, there was no time for anything else. I was doing a bit of volleyball, a bit of tennis, but my bowling coach, would not allow me to play tennis because of a different follow through. He really believed it was going to impact my bowling game. So I quit that. And that was probably the sport that I liked the most right after bowling. And I feel like because there were so many events happening in Poland, and we had a newly established Polish Bowling Federation, which means that we could go and participate in European Youth Championships or Women Championships or World Championships. And because I was in one of those early people that came in, even though I was young, because I was bowling so much, I got into the team really fast. So at least 3 or 4 times a year, I would have like big events happening. Whether that was a youth, European Youth or World Youth Championships or Kubica IMF World Cup or Women's Championships, there was always something to look forward to. And I felt like there was no time for anything else, really.
Shamefully, I feel like the tennis could have benefited your bowling because I used to play tennis. Ocho did everything. And it's very risky. And bowling the same way, it'll almost teach you other ways to do things where you played tennis, so on your serve you're not pushing it, you're getting on top of it, and or a forehand you're hitting through it or something. And I feel like look, I'm sure the coaches know, but like, did you question? You're not going to question them.
Oh yeah, 100%. I did not agree with him, but
yeah, I know.
There was sometimes you have to pick
of
what
course. Were you
not.
good at? Were you good at tennis? Did you like it?
I was okay because my parents and my family was a very big like tennis family. It became like a big hobby of the family. So when I was 11 or 12, I started as well. And because I was always taller and I was always bigger than kids my age, I felt like I had that edge on the others. So playing against people my age was very fun because I felt like it was easy,
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't give myself enough time for that. And when he said that it's better to stop, we stopped because he said that, but because there was really like less and less time that I had because of school and all the bowling travels. So in a way that worked out, but I do regret not playing more. I feel like a lot of
It was
people...
just time. It wasn't exactly mechanics or anything. He probably said that just to get, but that's all right. Hey, look, you're doing it great now.
No,
So.
I think he believed in the fact that the follow through is different, and there was a lot of like there was a lot of things that we did not agree, and that's why eventually we stopped working together. And there were some things that he was great at teaching me, and there are some things that he was very wrong. So I feel like every athlete goes through that like phase, right? But going back to what you were talking about, I feel like that's why a lot of bowlers golf. I don't golf. I'm very bad at it. Maybe one day when I'm mature enough, I'm gonna become a golfer as well.
Sure.
But I heard that a lot of people try to figure out their bowling game when they golf. Like sometimes there's a movement of the wrist, there's a movement like that, to where they can try to get a better feel, and that can also translate on the bowling lanes.
Daria, a lot of people in the chat right now are talking about how strong you are at the bottom. And before we came on air, I talked to Ocho about Michelle Feldman. I'm 40. Watching bowlers like Kelly Kulick, Michelle Feldman, Leanne Barrett, Leanne Hulsenberg, they were always my female idols compared to bowlers like Parker Bone, my dad, Jason Couch, Pete Weber, Norm Duke. Again, this is all American bowlers. I'm flat out asking you right now, did you grow up and say, holy shit, I want to throw it like Liz Johnson. I want to throw it like this person. Your dad's a competitive bodybuilder. I think. I'm not sure.
He's old now.
Once. And I think your dad's a badass bodybuilder, which kind of, at least to me, explains the individuality of bowling.
And discipline.
And obviously discipline. But was there anybody that you chased that when you oh my God, I want to throw it like that. And then you walk out and curve it more than most of us.
So I think when I started bowling, I was very oblivious to the history of the sport and anything. I was kind of young too. So in '99, when bowling came into my country, I was 6, right? There was no social media, there was no YouTube, there was nothing, and there was no bowling on TV. So there was nowhere I could see how bowling really looks like, right? All I saw, it was my playground, my bowling center when I was practicing. That whoever was the best bowler, that at the time was the best bowler in the world for me because that's all I could see. But slowly, as I started traveling for European championships or world championships, that's kind of where my eyes opened. I was like, what the hell? This is so amazing what they can do with the ball. And for that reason, I'm also not very familiar with a lot of extremely good bowlers from the past. All that you mentioned, I know a lot of them. I did educate myself, but I had to go back and watch the old shows. I had to read about players because that's not something that came to me at the time when it was happening. But I would say that the people that I really looked at the most would be Kerry Kulik and Tommy Jones. And it's mostly because they were on Team USA. So I got to see them at either like World Championships or World Cup. Depending on the event, I would only see 1 or 2 representatives from each country. So it's not like I could see the full Team USA as well. And I remember Tommy was there a lot. And he was the one that I was like, wow, this is awesome. I remember watching Leandra and being just like, even her socks have American flag. Like I was so impressed with the things that, how much more professionals of those players were and how different they looked on the lanes and outside of the lanes and how different they interacted with those who were trying to help them, so the coaches. And I did struggle when I was asked question like, who do you want to bowl like? Because there was no player that I would wanted to bowl like. And as weird as it might sound, there was not a woman bowler that I had seen that I was like, oh my God, I want to bowl like this. Because I did appreciate the fact that they were phenomenal. They won a lot of titles and they can repeat with their eyes closed. But for me, when I was younger, I feel like it was very important for me to create speed and to create leverage to have the rev rate. And I think subconsciously, I just taught myself how to do it. And I feel like we're going to be seeing it a lot, Before, I feel like we had a glass ceiling, right? The girls bowl one way, the guys bowl another way. I never had that because I was never introduced to that. I came to the sport wild. I was like, oh, Tommy Jones, I'm going to bowl like him. To me, there was nothing that could stop me from trying. My coach tried, but that's kind of fell apart. But he did try to put me in a glove and everything. So now that we have that new generation, not old now, because I'm already the old generation, but when Verity, myself, Diana came in on tour and a couple other girls that have a bit more rev rate or can actually hook the lane, I feel like that opened the doors for a lot of girls coming into the bowling center and being like, I want to bowl like Daria. She has a lot of rev rate. I want to have it too. And they're going to find a way to create that rev rate. Because that's what the guys do. The guys came in, that's all they want, rev rate. So they're going to find a way how to do it, right? The girls never were encouraged to do that because there was no people that had proven that in the past, that it was possible or it was easy or it's there or it's achievable. And it's amazing to see actually on the PWBA tour how the rev rate keeps going up and up and up. And I feel like we are only a few years away from having majority of the field being considered higher rev rate players.
I love that, the fact that you wanted to be the first Daria. I mean, that's and now you have young girls that want to emulate you. I mean, that's Belmo-esque. You know what I mean? You are kind of a game changer when it comes to the female bowling. So I mean, that's something you can hang your hat on.
Yeah, thank you.
When it's all said and done. And your English is very good.
There's some guys that want to throw it like her too, Rob.
No, we all do. Your English is very good. Where did you learn it from?
I studied. We have English at schools when I was in Poland, but I came to the US when I was 19, and I came to college. Like I basically graduated, so my English had to be good enough to be able to graduate. So
true.
That's basically how.
Plus, there's John Wick movies out there too. Like you can learn from them.
I do have a strong Eastern European accent, so that's not something I'm probably ever going to be able to get rid of.
Don't get rid of it. Don't get rid of
it. Yeah, I don't think I can. But yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just learn, forget about it, or something like that. And then you throw it in there every once in a while. It leaves them alone. I promise you.
Yeah, when they ask me usually in the grocery store where you're from, I just tell them, I'm from Tennessee. But where were you born? Tennessee. And
Get
they just
fired,
don't know what
y'all.
to say. And it's just funny,
Well,
you
you're
know,
not from here.
sometimes.
Where are you from?
It is hilarious. I'm from Tennessee, and
Yeah,
nobody
it's
here
just,
sounds like you. So,
yeah, I think I was born and raised.
Were your parents cool with you going to the U.S. and what made you want to come here ultimately?
When I was at the European Youth Championships in 2008, it was in Finland. That's when I got the very first medal for Poland in international arena. Sid Allen, who was coaching at the time Team Latvia. So he was a coach of Diana and Maria Tkachenko, who you guys probably don't know, but she was a phenomenal bowler in Europe. It's just that she doesn't bowl anymore. But nevertheless, he told me on the bus to the bowling center, being like, "Hey, do you know about Weber International? They work with Kegel. It's a university. You can do your degree, and you're gonna get scholarship. You should go there." And from there on, it was no thought. I didn't even like research. Like whenever somebody asked me what you're gonna do after, I said, "I'm gonna go to US. I'm gonna go to US." You know. And then slowly, I had Diana come in 2 years before me, and we're quite close friends. And then Dasha Kovalova, who I had known, went to Wichita. So it kind of was like, let's try it. You know, if I can graduate and have a diploma and at the same time bowl a lot, it's amazing. I had no future goals about like where I want my bowling to go. I just wanted it to go, to keep going. You know, I didn't want the life to get in the way. And it was quite easy of a choice because I was too oblivious to check different universities, to check different opportunities. You know, I always knew where I'm going, and the coaches contacted me. I was lucky enough to get some scholarship, and thanks to that, I was able to afford to come and, you know, be a part of that team.
And you are on a great team as well. I mean, you guys were very
Yeah.
successful.
One of the best.
That's pretty
Phenomenal.
damn
I feel
scary,
like
by the way. Let's think about how scary that is, though.
Yeah.
Like seriously, you're packing up your bags and traveling across the pond to try this, and it's still a question mark. You're great. Your team might be great, but like, man, that is scary at that age.
no, it was. I think it was. But you know what's the good thing about being like teenager and being very young? You're just so oblivious to many things. You don't overthink stuff, you know? Because if I was to overthink it, I don't think I would come. Because like when you do look at it the way you just mentioned, that's very true. I had to pack all my life because I was gonna spend 7 months in the US into 2 bags. And then I was just going to be dropped off on the campus, and that's all I knew. Right? I didn't know I had to have sheets. I didn't know I had to buy pillows. Everything was new, you know? Everything was like, so, whoa, somebody's telling me I have an accent. I was like, what does it mean I speak English? You know, I didn't even know I had an accent. Little things like that, or slang, people picking on me because I would not understand some slang words. And that kind of became like, you know, a joke. During the dinner table. So there are a lot of things that stings even now when I think about it. But I'm just very glad I just didn't overthink it and it just went, because it led me to being here right now, you know?
Daria, compared to what you thought coming over here as far as the questions from fans, what is the question that your big fans ask you the most? There's got to be one question that somebody says to you every single time.
The question I get the most is like, how heavy is your bowling ball? That question is like tops of every ranking. But when they ask about Poland and the US, I don't feel like I throw 15s.
Tell them it's 10 and say you don't get enough revs on it. Tell them it's 10 every time from here on out. 10 pounds, I just get enough on it. You can't throw it like me. Start being cocky.
And I'm from Tennessee.
And you're from shit fire, y'all. 10-pound ball.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, so I don't think there is one question like that. No.
We'll stick it up there for when they do ask.
Nice job, Oach.
Did 900 Global approach you to sign with them?
I approach everyone.
Okay.
I was very stubborn.
I love that.
And in 2016, I was graduating college. So already, like, we would graduate in May. That's when we, like, April, maybe we'll bowl the ITRC, the national that was on TV and stuff. And we ended up winning that. But I was contacting companies before the nationals. It must have been like February. And I contacted Motive Global. And I did contact, I think, ABI. I did not contact Storm for one of the reasons. I feel like Storm was the best company that there was. I felt like I had no chances. I felt like even if I was to get signed, I would be one of very, 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 very many people. You know, I needed a brand to help me start up on tour. And it came up to being between Motive and 900 Global. The story about 900 Global is very heartwarming for me because you did play the clip from Empress of the Lanes that you saw at the beginning. So nobody really notices that, and it was never really captured. But on my calf, on my leg, I have a name written. It says Andro. Because Andro, that was my friend from Weber that used to go to Weber as well. But he was the first one that I had known that signed with 900 Global. And as I was still practicing with the team, I was seeing the 900 Global balls going down the lane. And I was like, what the hell is that? And he's like, oh, Chris Barnes is also on it. The balls are amazing. And he sold me. It was a dream on time, dream big pro, dream on. It's just so many good balls, the respect, the booyahs, And he was the first one that was like, hey, you have to know about Global. That's why when I was contacting companies, I felt like Global is what I ultimately really, really want. But Motive was also up there. And I did receive a case of balls from both companies, from Motive and 900 Global, to be able to compare. And I would say very unfortunate for Motive, and that's a story I've never really said it out loud, but I don't think it's a secret. When the Jackal thing came out, remember when it was banned and stuff?
Yep.
It came out a day after I received a case of balls from Motive, right? And the Jackal was there, right? So I know they had a launder plate, but I did message a person on my contact. I was like, hey, so sorry for what's happening. I have that Jackal. What do you want me to do? He's like, oh, scratch serial number, send me picture. No problem. It's like, do you think you can replace that ball with something else from the line? Because Jackal is the biggest ball. And the other three that I have to test are not very big balls. So I would like to see what's your highest performing ball. And I got one line, and it was, when you sign, you're going to get more balls. And it was done for me. It didn't really matter. They could be the best bowling balls. And I'm not having any bad feelings towards that person because I so get it. I cannot even imagine what Motive had to go through when the Jackal stuff happened.
Right. Yeah.
And for me, it was a very unfortunate timing. But on the other hand, though, when I drew the dream ons and respect and the booyah, I knew what I wanted. And I was just very lucky that Global wanted to work with me and they wanted to sign me. And even though they were such a fresh company in 2016, they already take me on board.
And, we've had Chris Barnes on the show, and he's a friend of ours. He's a fantastic guy. How much has he done to help you out in your career?
I'm not sure if he had done anything directly to impact my career, right? I feel like he impacted many careers just by being who he is.
Right.
And watching him. I would say that we are more friends than him as my mentor, because I don't work with Chris. I wish I could sometimes, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But he's a person that I can chat up very easily with. I really, really like him. I like seeing him bowl. The one time that I can recall that he had helped me, it was at the US Open in 2017. It took place in Plano, Texas. And I led that US Open, and he was there the whole time because I think he lives nearby, and he was just kind of ball repping. And it was very funny because he would stand behind me and then leave, and then he would come back and be like, I'm coming back because I haven't seen strikes in the past 2 frames. What's going on? So I still remember that, right? Because the scoring pace was very high, so we were striking like crazy. So that was when he was with me and trying to help me, and I really like to have the feedback right away. I could get in his brain and really see how he sees the things. But other than that, I have not had an experience to where I can tell I've worked with Chris and this is what I learned or what I know now.
Rob, let me follow up then, because Daria, based off what you just said, we have a lot of fans in the chat every single week that they get, for lack of a better word, pissy when they're struggling. Everybody, I try and, when I do coach my friends or local bowlers, I try and explain to them the best way I can that everybody goes through the exact same thing. When you start to lose it, I don't even know what that is for you. What do you do to calm it down and bring yourself back to center, whether it's practice, middle of a tournament? I don't care. I just want to know what one of the best does when the wheels come off.
Yeah, I think that the very big misunderstanding within, even me for a long time, is that professionals or those who are good at the game, they always feel good. And that the only problem is maybe sometimes throwing it bad or out of the window or not matching up. And that what seems to be the only problem for those who don't bowl well. But in reality, most of us struggle. a lot on the lanes. Some people have better weeks, some have worse weeks, some people have a good month or 2 months, but there's gonna be that time when the body just doesn't want to do what it was doing. And just being able to manage on how you can win when you're not on your top skill, I think that's what creates the best bowlers. That's what creates legends. And I feel like EJ Tackett is a legend to me right now after watching him struggle at the US Open and picking himself up. And I do feel like he was not feeling very comfortable with his game. It must have fell off, or at least that's how it looked like, because I've never seen EJ looking so uncomfortable on the approach. And he came back with such a bang that I even have goosebumps when I think about it, because I was so involved in like watching him, and I was so happy when he won, because that was probably the biggest comeback that I had a chance to like witness and follow from what's been happening now. I feel like it depends, right? If you're bowling bad and like you just don't know what's happening, I always feel like go get a coach. One lesson can be life-changing, but it has to be a coach. Don't go to like your friend that's a better bowler and maybe he can give you a tip here and there. Like, you need one structured practice with a coach, and that can be your career-changing moment, because you think you know all of it and you just know that you cannot execute, so coach is not going to help you. But then you're going to get a coach, and the coach is going to be like, oh, you have to do this and that, and then suddenly whoa, the whole universe opens up. Sometimes you have to take a break too, it just depends on whether you're fried mentally or your body is fried. So it's very individual, I would say.
Rad Rob, what makes that so deep is especially the newbies when it comes to bowling, and especially off what she just said, is the newbie that enters bowling that actually finds that one coach that knows what they're talking about is still surrounded by the people that want to give that guy their 10 cents from every single angle. And the hardest thing to teach a newbie, at least for me, because I typically stick with people, I stick with my close friends. I am not a coach. I wish I was, because I genuinely like helping people, but I just don't feel like I'm that good at it, Daria. But I will tell my newbie friends how to control their brain when they're around something coming at them from every single angle. And sometimes it's too much, because everybody's trying to spit what they've gone through in their bowling career, which, like you said at the top of the show, you don't have an idol in the respect of the way you throw the ball. You admire people that may have paved the way, Kelly Kulick, Liz Johnson, Parker Bone, whoever it is. But when it comes to bowling, you need to, like you just said, you need to find somebody that not only understands your brain, but has the balls, respect my language, and the decency to tell you, this is gonna suck for the next 3 weeks. I'm gonna teach you something that feels horrible. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
No, I think that you're very on spot, and something that really bothers me. There's two things actually, but one is because bowling is not an Olympic sport, which means it does not get money from the governments. US doesn't get it really very much. Poland and stuff, we do get a bit of money as a federation to do whatever they say that we can do, right? For Olympic sports, you would have programs for youth. And when you have programs for youth, you would have people signing up their kids to go and practice bowling, because bowling is an Olympic sport. When you think about practice bowling, that equals coach, right? When you think bowling, it doesn't equal coach. So a lot of kids that we see, like most of us, came out from, I was just bowling league, I got very good, I started practicing, then I stumbled upon that coach, and I stumbled upon that coach, I understand coaching is important. I continue to work with coaches. And many times in our sport, those who need coaching the most, they don't want coaching. It's just something that has to be rewired and change in how we see our sport, because there is bowling that you can do recreationally and just have fun and enjoy. But if you're getting so upset about your form or about the fact that you're not bowling well, you don't have a right to be upset if you don't have a coach or some path that you're following. How can you get better? It's like as if I wanted to try to golf and I was just golfing like 20 hours a week and thinking that that's how it's going to make me Tiger Woods, because I'm putting the 10,000 hours, it doesn't work that way. So I feel like that's the problem. And the other problem I have is with all the great people that give very bad advices. And unfortunately, that happens a lot to the women. And because I I stand up for a lot of people. I don't have problem with that. I would stand up for many girls when I see them being coached by others. And I would just tell them, like, hey, I don't think, she asked, or like, can you wait until she's done bowling? Maybe then you can speak. Because I feel like it comes from the good of the heart. They want to help. They're going to approach the female because girls are a lot easier to approach. The dude just might slap you in the face or punch you and be like, hey, get lost. I'm better than you anyway, or whatever, right? The girls are not going to be like that. We're polite, we're kind, we're going to just take it in, and then we're going to be bothered with it, and it's going to ruin the whole night of bowling because then he's watching and you have to do what he said. Overall, it makes me very uncomfortable when a lot of people give a lot of advices, and I feel like it's never going to stop. But I feel like for those who really don't like it, to say it out loud, to say thank you, and following whatever my coach is saying. Today I'm struggling. Hopefully I'm going to be better tomorrow.
What an awesome answer.
Right? Yes. I absolutely. I mean,
that's a real answer. That's legitimately the question I wanted an answer to. Because I'm just talking about it even from a league level. When you watch the random 180 bowler that's trying to help their son or their daughter teach them how to bowl, like they're just yelling what they know and what they've heard. But when you find that one coach that's a little bit intricate that says, Daria, your flat spot should be a little bit longer, and the way we do it is, making your pivot step a quarter of an inch longer. You need those precise things at the level you're at, and you need a brain and a mind and a set of eyes that actually looks at it and says, this one's going all the way, and this is my job now to make it a little bit better. But Daria, going back to tennis, and Rob, this will be my last question before I steal the entire show again, like I always do. But we're going back. I was talking to Ocho about this earlier. You talked about tennis, talked about bowling. You've always seemingly been ready to attack the next step in your individual sport. Like we talked about earlier in the show with your father, which, again, if I'm wrong, correct me. But it's so, God, what is the best way to propose this, Rad Rob? Daria, you are so good. Tell all these people when you're going through not throwing it well, when you feel it at the bottom that you're tipping your thumb over the top, or, oh my God, I can't get my hand around it. My grips feel good, but oh my God, it's going forward and I'm 2-8-10ing when it should be at least a ring 10. What is the mindset when you're bowling a tournament, knowing you're one of the best in the world? What is your attack? Because it relates to anybody at any level.
I feel like everyone has their trigger points, something that we consistently do when we're feeling off, right? Being able to identify them is really, really difficult, because as you do it, you don't really know what's happening or what's causing it. And the worst thing is that when you bowl bad, things get so fast in your brain, you cannot even actually form a normal thought. So you cannot even really dig deep in your brain to be like, what's happening with me right now? Because you don't want to like that challenge. You just want to, when you open the frame and you want to throw another one as quickly as possible. That's our brain rushing us from one step to the other, because it's kind of like you want to either forget about the bad memory, the past memory, or you just want to have a new one, or just get your brain to do something, so that way you don't have to think and face those challenges. So for me, my biggest trigger points, it would be my push away. It gets very quick, my backswing gets very high, and I get very steep. And from then, the whole hell breaks loose. Okay, that game is not good when that happens. Yeah, when I get very steep, I close my shoulders a lot, and then the ball, instead of going right, goes to the left, or I try to save it at the end. It's just awful, and many times it's very difficult to catch that this is what's happening. You feel off, but you don't know. So what I found the best for me is just to ask a friend to take a video of me. First game, first or second or third frame, it's like, hey, just show me a video. Take a video of me, it doesn't matter, and show it to me. And the moment I see my backswing getting too high, I know that I have to think about it, And then I feel like I'm getting myself out of trouble many times. On tour, we're not allowed to use phones, so we cannot do that. But I still try to feel like my backswing is low. And overall, I feel like I'm struggling a lot with my physical game and my game in general. I think it's not really a secret, the fact that I live very close to storm, right? So that means I have a very good knowledge about bowling balls and everything they do. And I work with people here as well to read the lanes. I feel like I have so much knowledge about this, right? I think I'm very fit. I work out a lot and I'm very healthy. I feel like while my physical game is one of the best or the better in the world, I don't repeat as much. And I don't repeat as much because maybe my mental game is not as great, or maybe because my physical game is too volatile for myself to being able to help, like to
That was
take
actually
care
my
of my
next
game.
question. You said too volatile. You're excessively strong in the bowling world, the same way Tommy Jones is excessively strong in the bowling world. Robert Smith, Michelle Feldman. You have such a strong base when you bowl that it's got to be the hardest thing in the world to tell somebody like you, hey, slow down.
Yeah, no,
I don't
100%.
want to slow down. I don't want to slow down, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's at least what I'm gathering from what you're saying. Is that somewhat on point?
Yeah, well, the truth is that it's very easy for me now to generate a lot of speed and power, right? I do it very without thinking. So my normal speed is very high without trying. When I'm on the tournament and my heart rate is a bit too high, my ball speed might be even higher. And
Yeah.
that's scary high, because that high is where the ball is not seeing the right way, when things are going sideways, when your mistakes are exaggerated by 5. So it does take me, I have been working on it for a long time to, just 80%. Just give 80% of yourself.
Well,
Not
send me some tips, please, because I'm still struggling like there's no tomorrow with being badass, but walking to the foul line like I'm going through molasses.
yeah, but the thing is that I think it's more difficult to give less than give too much, right? So I really have to focus on the fact 80% is good, because sometimes I might need to give 100%, but I need 80 right now, and 80 is good because 80 I can control. 80 is gonna get me to the cut or to the show, or it's just gonna be so much easier for me. But there is that subconscious mind or that little devil on the shoulder being like, just make sure you get the ball where you want it, and then just yank it to the left. So I feel like it doesn't matter if you're a league player, college bowler, you both have fun, but or you're on pro tour, like we have the same demons. They're still there. It's just sometimes we face them and they are not as loud anymore, because if you don't face them, then the bullies always comes back and they get stronger and stronger, right? Sometimes you have to be like, back off, I got it, I know what to do. But those bad thoughts and those bad performances and bad shots, they happen all the time.
And you always attack it the way you actually just spoke it. So for everybody watching, do yourself a favor. Don't get mad at yourself when you throw one bad here and there. Just understand the miss and try and correct it the next time. Because I guarantee you I don't care how many times everybody watching has the front 11, you're still going to get nervous. You just know what not to do after you've been there enough times.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment, Daria?
Very, very, very important thing to do is...
I'm going to pass you to Ocho. I have to excuse myself for just 1 minute.
No worries. I think it's very important to know how to bounce back from the bad shots. That's something that people that are not maybe professionals, I would say, they don't really take care of it that much. But I think what makes the professional and amateur is the difference in those little things that we do different, right? So to give you an example, like you are bowling on a show, or like you are gonna win and you bowl the 9th frame and the 10th frame, and you need close frames easy, right? But you go and you split in the 9th frame. You don't pick it up, and then you know that you can strike out to win, or a spare to have your opponent have to strike out to win, or you open and all she has to do is just close the frame, right? Quite easy. You go, but you're still remembering about the other shot, because we have short clock, it happens fast. So you're gonna go from that split, you're not even gonna recover because your mind doesn't have time to recover. And you're already halfway through the approach throwing the most important shot of that 50-game tournament. It's right there right now, and your mind is still in the other frame. And you split again, and you're done. That's how you lost, right? So that's why you would see a lot of guys and girls on TV call reset, to reset the pins. It just buys you time. So basically, whenever you have to throw shot after shot, and you split or open the frame on the first one, you have to make sure that you take more time for the next one because you have to go back to square one. And it's very difficult after you just let yourself down so much. So those little things, remembering, knowing, making sure you do them, they make a very big difference.
But that's where a pro would do that, and an amateur would try to rush it because he's so nervous or she's so nervous that they would, because they don't want to be, when you guys can slow yourselves down, you can take your heart rate down, go through your routine, get a re-rack, and yet the amateur, I don't want to say amateur, I just want maybe the first time on your TV show. Because look, in game 4 of the second block, you're not, you threw a split, but okay, you'll make up for it. You got 25 more games left. But here it is. It's all the marbles, and it's the time that they don't really get to experience, especially the noobs. So now they try to rush it because they don't even want to think about it, I feel like. But like you said, the amateurs, the professionals that can go through their routine, they have to get the re-rack, slow their heart rate down, rub the ball the same way they always do, pat the rosin the way they always do, or grab whatever, and that just almost resets their mind, and that's where it's fully mental.
100%.
They've thrown so many shots, thousands and thousands of shots. That's where it's mental, and they're able to control it, and that's what separates people because amateurs can't do that.
100%, yeah. And sometimes when people say like, "Oh, that person has a strong mental game," sometimes I feel like they relate to the fact that they can bowl good under pressure, right? Or they strike, or they have high scores. To me, a strong mental game is being able to recover like that. You split and then you recover. EJ Tack at US Open. You have to be so strong mentally, and you have to be so in touch with your nervous system, with your feelings, to know like, hey, my heart rate is too high, I gotta have to slow it down, right? Or I'm rushing too much. Like, just being aware of that, it already makes you a better player. And a strong mental game not necessarily means that you don't feel bad when you bowl, or that you exactly do what you want to do, because you might be very, very strong mental game. You wake up, you slept bad, your body just doesn't move the same. And a lot of people would freak out. Be like, oh my God, I don't know where my ball is going, it's awful, like, I don't know. Person that has a very strong head, very strong mental game, they're gonna be able to get the best out of what they feel that day. Sometimes it might not be enough, but many times for those better bowlers, it is going to be enough.
So you brought up anatomy now. That's Ocho's style. When you said nervous system, that's exactly what it is. It's your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight. You just threw a split, your fight or flight just kicked up. Your blood pressure kicks up. You are so vasoconstricted right now. You're not thinking about, it's almost like when you fall backwards off a chair, but you catch yourself. That's what just happened right there. Now you got to regulate that. And I'll bring it back to golf. It's like Tiger Woods used to say the best thing wouldn't be getting a birdie. It'd be a par save, because it meant he overcame the split like you're talking about and then pushed on from there. So I just get jigged up for anatomy. So that's my thing. But I'm glad you mentioned the nervous system, because that's exactly what it is. It's your sympathetic nervous system catching your fight or flight, and your parasympathetic, you have to get, which is involuntary, people. And yet the athlete has to bring it down. You know how hard that is? And yet certain people can do it.
Yeah, I know that there is different ways you can try to lower your heart rate. Obviously, breathing is one of them. So, fun fact for those who don't know, when you breathe, the breathing out is actually what lowers your heart rate, okay? So don't focus on breathing in as much as you focus on breathing out, because that's the key. But I also heard that there's different techniques that you can use that you will learn in hypnosis. People that do sport hypnosis can teach athletes of how to lower and control their heart rate, which is sick to even think about it. I have not done it myself. My very good friend of mine had told me about it, of how he used to do it when he was bowling a bit more on tour. And I find it very fascinating that we do have control over that. But just to even be able to think about like things like that, you already have to be at some sort of level to where like every detail does matter. Because I don't think many league bowlers would think about like, oh, I'm gonna lower my heart rate right now, I'm gonna hypnotize myself and breathe out very slowly. Like, I don't think that's something that goes through people's mind. But I find it very fascinating that we are able to do different things like that.
You mentioned your.
Go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
You mentioned struggling, and obviously when you joined the tour, your first TV appearance, you won. What was it about that first time on TV? Were you nervous? Were you comfortable? Obviously, you're going against one of the best in the world in the title match. Verity Crawley. Take us through your process and your first venture into TV bowling.
That was 8 years ago, and I promise it feels like it was in a different lifetime. I feel like it was either a parallel universe. It was like a dream. It was quick. It was cool. I didn't understand how big it was. I think because it was like my first year on tour. It was taped. It was gonna be released 2 weeks later. There was no like buzz on social media. People were not really congratulating me as much because they didn't know just so much about it, and that felt very familiar because just like a year ago, I was bowling on TV for nationals with my team, with Weber, and we ended up beating Wichita for the national title on TV. So the TV itself was not the demon I was afraid of. In fact, I was not really afraid of anything at that point. And I do think that a big part of my success was because of Steve, who was a ball rep for 900 Global. The way it worked in 2017, okay, we had a lot of TV shows. Basically, every tournament had its own TV show. That's why Detroit Open, which is not a major, was televised. So we would finish a tournament, and then they would tell us, like, oh, TV show for that tournament, you're going to bowl in 2 or 3 weeks. Right? So I would qualify to a TV show in Detroit, but I actually bowled it in Green Bay. So I was the last show of the day, and there was like a different shows coming before mine. I was the last show of the day, and Steve, the ball rep, is like, "Hey, that front hook so unbelievably much. We have to drill you a ball." I was like, "We're not drilling me a ball for my first show. What are you talking about? Like, I have to feel it. I have to know what the ball is doing. What are you talking about?" It's like, "No, we have a honey badgers. It's basically like a high road bipetter. It's like a high road bipetter. Like, it's gold. You're gonna love it. It's great, and it's gonna be great." And that's basically the ball I used for the whole show. It was 4 games, and as you guys bowl, and if you can stick to one ball for longer than 3 or 4 games, it's golden, right? When we have a tournament that we bowl with one ball for 6 games, it's gold. We want that. So that ball matched up very well to me and to the lanes, and I think I executed very well. And that's basically all it was. Just stars aligned for me that day.
Well, I mean, you had a great year. Obviously, you were the rookie of the year. Uh, I have to ask, what has it been since then where you haven't got back to that level? Is it your mental game? Is it is it what you spoke earlier about not repeating as well? I mean, what have you found about yourself and your game since then? And what do you plan for the future?
Oh my God, this is such a complex question. And as much as I would like to give it as clear on the plate to you as I can, I don't think it's as easy because if it was, I would probably already be top 5 on PWBA or top 10.
Fair enough.
The truth is, though, that my first year was good. Like, it was good, but it was not great. We see it as being good because I was a rookie of the year. I won a title, and I led US Open. But there was a lot of tournaments that I finished the bottom 20, bottom 25. It was a good year, but it was not that great because when we came out, the partners were very difficult. And I don't know if I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So the partners were very difficult, and that's when Liz Johnson was in her prime. She was winning everything. Everything that was close angles, quite straight, was working very well. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't roll the ball. I couldn't have a forward motion. I was just hooking it. That's all I could do. So whenever I could do it, that's why I bowled so well those 2 events. So after the 2017 finished, I decided to put gas and work twice as hard and try to work on my physical game. And I was getting coaching, and I was following a plan that ended up being something that would kind of kill the love for the sport for me for a longer time. And it took me very, very long to get back to where I feel like I'm in control of my own game, because everything that we were trying to do, it was as if I was to be a straight player, but with the numbers that I was creating, right? So all the angles were the way I was trying to bowl, I was being taught, it was that the angles were very straight, but the power was still there. So how can I go 12 to 10 with the river that I have, right? So it was just basically the direction that we have chosen was not right, and that caused me to struggle a lot. I wasn't able to throw the ball. I was freaked out of how is it going to feel to walk to the foul line. I still have few videos, like I bowled 297 on tour because I basically the 12th shot I didn't make it to the foul line. I whiffed the headpin to the left, and it was almost a left gutter. But that just, to me, it shows how much I was struggling with the game itself. And after COVID, I reconnected with my coach that had coached me all the way until I was in Weber. His name is Kostas, and he's a USBC Gold coach. It's an amazing coach, and he basically explained it to me why I've been struggling, and slowly from there I've been taking the game different direction where I want it to be. And I can say it now with a lot of certainty that I like where my game had gone. I like how I bowl. I do feel like there's a lot of flaws I have to fix, but I feel like from this on I can build up. I have something to build up. I don't have to try changing everything anymore. I don't have to try to be someone I'm not. It's just now I'm me after so many years, you know? So I have to practice a lot to make sure that I can be in control of my game like no other. Because many times on tour that we bowl in, especially this year, they love the drop brush being so like close. That means that front to back your ball reads a lot, right? It hits the arrows, it gets offline. So the problem with that sometimes is that if you create more power and more rev rate, the ball is gonna see the line differently. And if you catch it a bit more, the ball is gonna get offline because all the drop rush is so short. While people that have a bit of less rev rate, their mistakes are not as exaggerated. So there's different things when it comes to playing the lanes that really are a disadvantage of those with a higher rev rate. Because higher rev rate not always means that you can carry more. Because sometimes all we want is get to the pocket. But how can you get to the pocket if you move a ring finger and the ball is already in Brooklyn, you know? Like sometimes it's just difficult. Like the tournaments, for example, that we just bowled the 10th anniversary, which was phenomenal. I love it. I love the show. I loved who made the show. And we had like two very high rev girls. We had Nora for the first time she made a show, phenomenal bowler, and we had Verity. So I feel like that show, that tournament was very open angles friendly, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
I bowled very well that tournament. I did not make top 12 because the 10 pin just decided to be my enemy of the day, and the amount of them I left, it was incredible. And when you have to score 230 to make it, it's difficult when you have 5-10 pins a game, right? But nevertheless, that tournament was really allowing for my game and other powerful girls to really make it. And I think that's why we saw the finals they were. But there's some tournaments when people that open up angles have zero chance, like zero chance. At least that's what I feel, right? There's always a way, but it can be very difficult.
Kyle
Sorry,
started with a good point, though. Going on what you said, Beef Stew brought up that your power could be your disadvantage because you have to play left of literally everyone, almost everyone on the lanes, and the lanes break down in a way that makes your angle iffy. That pretty much goes in line of your own assessment of yourself, which is great because you're very astute and you're very self-aware of what you're doing and what's going on, and not everybody can do that. So that's definitely in your benefit to try to improve your game because you know what you need to do, and if you just keep working on it. Again, you said repetition is the mother of all learning. Just muscle memory, repeat.
Yeah, 100%. It's like
Kobe Bryant shooting, 1,000, free throws, out in the courts when he was a teenager. You'll get there. You obviously have the talent. Sometimes it'll just all of a sudden click, and you'll be
right. But
like EJ. EJ struggled for a long time. EJ wasn't always the best in the world, but he did something to figure it out. In the last 3 years, he's been unstoppable. You have the same talent to do that.
Sure. I am definitely gonna be doing everything I can, and I have been. I think my worst compliment that someone can give me, and that makes me furious because I don't know what to reply. It makes me very sad. Is I don't understand how you don't win every week. And that makes me feel like I'm broken, like there is something wrong with me, like I have all of that and I cannot take advantage. I know that is not true. I know that there's a lot of things that I'm missing to get where I want to be. I know the competition is phenomenal, and I also know that a lot of people don't understand that bowling is not figure skating when you're going to get points of how good it looks like, right? Or it's not something to where power equals win, because if that was the case, I would win every week, right? I had been the most powerful girl on tour before now we have Nora. So yeah, I feel like people are trying to compliment me by saying this. Like they think I am capable of that, which is lovely. But when they say I don't understand why I don't win every week, the only way it can make me feel is to make me feel bad, right? And I just don't know how to recover from that. And just say thank you. I don't know either. You know, like I just don't even know what to say to that. But yeah, I hope that things are gonna align. I hope everything is
Daria,
as
can I say something to you?
Of course you can.
Because I'm not as good as you, and I'll gladly announce it to all of our viewers. But I did grow up with a legendary father, and my entire life, people have told me that I would never cut it. Eventually, what I started doing, I just glad-handed the people that told me I couldn't do anything, because respectfully, I didn't do what they expected me to do. And you have your own game. You have your own self. You've already got all the tools. Yes, does your swing get too steep sometimes because you're a little bit powerful? Yes. Do I agree with Beef Stew about sometimes you have to start in a different zone of the lane and play the lane entirely differently from the breakdown of the people around you? Yes, I do. But when it's all said and done, what you're saying and what you're spitting to everybody is very, very, very important, because there is no such thing as the right way to do anything in any sport. If there was, it would be a very, very boring world we live in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, respectfully, would you say that there's one thing that you wish you were better at no matter how much you practice it? At least for all the people in the chat, which, sorry again, Rob, that I haven't even considered the chat tonight, but is there anything that you could proudly say, you know what? No matter how much I work at this, I suck at it, and I got to get better. That's what everybody that bowls league wants to hear one of the best in the world say. What do you think?
She doesn't think at anything. What are you a little above average at and not spectacular at?
Right.
So what I can tell you that one of my biggest achievements, okay, it's when I did what people say, when I turned my biggest weaknesses into my biggest strength, and that's loft. When I was graduated from Weber 2015-16, I could not bowl left of 22 on the arrows. There was no way I could. And people could not understand. It's because I'm very left eye dominant. The way I see the lane is very different.
Right.
Well, if you practice on it, you're gonna learn to get comfortable with the gutter and not to try to throw it all the way to the right gutter because you're so scared. But yeah, I could not bowl left of 22, and that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn. I had my boyfriend Gio help me how to loft it. I had John Janovich teach me where to look, how to see it, like how can I go through 25. If I go through 25, the ball is never gonna get right side of the headpin. And I got so good at it that I feel like if tournaments were not oiled and we're gonna build the finals or whatever is left over after 12 games, I don't think they would have much chance with me. Okay, because I think sometimes I can beat the guys because I'm a bit less than what they are, which is perfect for that part of the lane.
Right.
But that's one of the things that I used to be very bad, and now I'm good. What really sucks is the washout. I hate it, and I know this now when I'm gonna be on TV. Hopefully when it happens, my first or my last shot is going to be a washout, and I'm going to make it. I just don't know which way, how. Maybe we're going to go on the string. I'm going to have a string wrapped around because I can't seem to find a way to pick it up normally. But washout is something that I despise. I hate it. It's disgusting.
Right here on Straight Up 5, people, you hear this. This is what's going to happen when she's on TV. Let's get our wagers going. Let's get the freaking Bet US Sports. Let's get some odds on this one, because I say probably plus 120 she makes it.
I think do you hate the washout because you know before the dots you're like, oh my god, it's a washout?
I just hate it. I just hate it because I cannot pick it up. Like, I do pick it up sometimes, but my pickup percentage is so lame. It's unbelievable. I might as well just close my eyes and throw it straight, and probably it will be a bit better. I pick up maybe 1 in 3 or 1 in 4.
That's me with a 7-pin, Daria. Don't feel too bad.
Wait, I thought that was good.
No, that's better than most.
Yeah, so I can pick up a washout if I can just move off my strike shot and throw reactive. I will pick it up then. But
so you'd like a league player would. You'd move to the right a little bit and then freaking roll it out a little bit, right?
I don't know on tour.
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, I feel like the way she explained it is the way a league player would if she could.
No, I think what she's saying is like,
now on tour you cannot because of course the shot plays different.
Yeah.
No, for real though. Okay, so
On difficult patterns,
everybody
it's
in the
more
chat
difficult.
help Daria, but real quick, Rad Rob BSJ83, one of our longtime, he's been asking questions, and he Daria BSJ83 on YouTube says, just joined the podcast. Are you bowling the Lucy this weekend?
I'm flying up tomorrow morning.
Who's your teammate?
I have yet to my boyfriend. I've been bowling with Gio for the past, I think, 4 years.
Excellent.
Yeah, I have yet to decide what 10 balls I'm taking with me, and I'm very torn apart between the Ember and the Zen 25, and I cannot take both because I don't have space, and it's been in the back of my head what I should take, right? Part of me is like Zen 25 is gonna be the daddy there, but the other part of me is like Ember is a new ball. I'm 900 global ambassador. I should take that ball too, and there is a lot of conflicts I'm having inside me. But yeah, I'm bowling Lucy this weekend, and I'm on A squad, so I'll be there bright and early.
Like the Zen line, at least throughout your career, from what we see as spectators, that Zen 25, I've seen it in action only on house shots, not on anything tournament ready. And obviously the Ember, I don't know that much about. Are they close enough where you can manipulate one or the other, or are you like, God darn, I got to throw the new ball?
I can definitely manipulate it, but the very big difference is the mid lane for both of them. Maybe because also my Zen 25 has a bit higher top weight, and what it does, it just makes the ball go a bit farther down the lane and tip more and harder and more continuous in the pins. So my Zen 25 is cleaner through the mid lane, while the Ember is not as clean. It makes a difference when you ball on a very, very old surface. When you ball on a very old surface, you don't want the ball to see that mid lane. That's why I would go towards the Zen 25. The Ember, my guess is if it's earlier in the mid lane, I'm not going to throw it probably on fresh. Maybe that will be game 3-4. But because it's in the mid lane, if it's going to get offline, it's done. I cannot use that ball really unless I go super far left. And Lucy, you'll never know. Like that's the only tournament we bowl with the guys, and I love it because off season I only bowl with the guys, and I love it. And I understand transitions so much, and I'm so excited to bowl because I know I'm just gonna keep moving left and throwing it right, and I'm just gonna manipulate my hand and manipulate the ball choices on the PWBA tour with how patterns work and how we play them, and a lot of the girls how they play them too. It's so different. It's not like you start and then you keep moving left and just ball down or ball up or slow down, or sometimes you have to go like 10 right back again because no one had been there that far left, so it's just such a guessing game sometimes for me on tour, and I don't want to make myself a victim, but saying that I'm excited about bowling with the guys, it's mostly because I'm going to see the breakdowns the way I understand it so well.
It's almost, at least from the outsider's perspective, with the way you throw the ball, like game 2, game 3, oh, now I can get to the comfort zone and just wail on it and wheel it and be Daria. It just, there's no second guessing when you can play the shim. You got a little bit of bump at that point, then it's only ball reaction. It's not release. It's not XYZ. Mm-hmm. And again, for everybody in the chat, everybody's always got an A game. Everybody always wants to be somewhere. I talked to my dad. If you talk to 1973 Johnny Sr., he's straight up 5. Did it again. If you talk to 1994 300 Dad, he never wanted to be left of the fourth arrow.
He was throwing over third arrow from the right.
But for everybody listening, just you're talking to one of the best in the world, and they go through the exact same problems, and they search anecdotes for every single issue that they come across. So you're not alone when you're by yourself, but as long as you harness the actual problem and the cause of it. Daria said she gets too steep. She gets a little bit too steep, which means I assume you screw it into the lane a little bit and
so much
go left.
I love it. Like I can make a hole.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Exactly. She's putting in a hot tub.
Yeah, I can do that well.
But
have you thought about, I mean, this may sound like a stupid question, but have you thought about throwing plastic?
Yeah, I have in the past, but but no.
I didn't know if it made that much of a difference because obviously with the way you have to play the lanes and the way that the oil breaks down differently with the other women, I didn't know if maybe plastic could be an advantage. Johnny made a killing throwing rubber and plastic. I didn't know if that was an option for you.
Yeah, it would be if the scoring pace was in the 190s, 200s,
Okay.
maybe. But when I struggle the most is when there is not much oil, the shape is to the right, and everybody goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I cannot fit there.
Right.
And if the bowling center is old and surface is old, so I cannot really throw urethane, I might as well just be like, let me practice something different, because at this point I don't know where to go. I cannot stay right. That's why I would throw plastic, because that would allow me to stay there. But if the pace is 220 to 30 to 40, because that's such a nice comfort zone for so many people, you have dry, you have a bit of oil, right? But if I cannot fit there because my bow just overhooks that, doesn't matter what I do with my hand, it's very difficult. So I just have to get so much better on having my B game, my C game, my D game better, so that way I can allow myself to like flourish when I can throw my normal game. And saying that there's more red on PWBA Tour makes me very excited. It means that hopefully the lanes will come a little bit closer to me, to where I'm not gonna feel like I'm bowling in a different world where everybody's to the right. I just want to be far left enough to where I can take advantage of the burn to the right, and that's not unfortunately the case many times.
Right. Now, for the average person that watches the show that may not know the actual breakdown of mechanics, they would think that having more ball speed would be an advantage to you because you can break through the oil. But what about your game? It doesn't really translate to that. Like, why doesn't your speed help you?
I think it sometimes does. It does to help me stay more in line. So if I was to throw it slower, the ball would get offline faster, which means I have to go even farther left. So just thinking that with the speed that I have, I think off my hand, I'm around 18 and a half by Spectral, not by the bowling monitors, because that's a lot lower. But my speed is quite high. But even with that speed, I struggle a lot being too far left. Right. So then I have to learn how to roll it better. So I have to make sure that the core of the ball and the axis of rotation does not make my ball hook so much down lane. So I have to roll it. But if I roll it, it's not my A game, not my B game. I can do it, but I have to do it so well, because anytime I turn my hand a tiny bit too much, it's not going to be a matter of like I strike or I 4-pin. It's going to be the matter of I'm going to get 5. I'm going to get Greek church, something like this. So in that scenario, I just have to be so much better. And I have to practice so much harder. And I have to make sure that on top of that, everything else, my A game is good and my spurs are good and my mental state is fine and my diet is okay, so I don't feel like shitty bowling. There's so many to it. It takes so much to win. So I have so much respect for those who keep showing up and just executing every single time.
Well, you're one of them. And the fact that you're even talking about the diet, you're talking about the qualms, that's what makes you one of the best, because the only way you get better is by harnessing that and figuring out a way to do it. And the best in the world have figured out a way. I've been trying my entire life to gently lay off it at the bottom so I don't go 4 through the middle to bowl 275 or 235 in the 10th, whatever the number is. But everybody's got a different issue to deal with, but they all go back to the exact same home plate, the same base. It's everybody goes through the same stuff. But what makes you so cool, aside from your ability to be deeper than most women and actually most men, is you want to figure out the thing that can make you the best in the world, which you're just kind of knocking on the door about. And everybody that joins our show that tries, they always second guess themselves in certain moments. I've second guessed myself my entire life, but truth of the matter is, if my back's against the wall, I'm going to throw the best shot in the world. I know exactly what not to do. And the more I do it, just like you, the more you do you. I cannot imagine being in a world where your moves are so different than 95% of the competition that you're up against. And you have such a beautiful game on top of it. And it's almost sinister to sit back and say, this person can't make the moves that the lanes are dictating because she's, like people in the chat, Rad Rob, have said earlier, she's too good at something different. She doesn't contour to what's out there. You said it yourself, Daria. You said you like bowling with the guys. I guarantee your third game average is at least 8 pins higher than game 2 or 1, at least. And that's me being generous. I'm assuming.
I would only say that might be not true because a lot of guys throw urethane on fresh, and when they throw urethane on fresh, my first scores are very high too. And sometimes
Never mind what I just said. Just I'm gonna exit station.
No, it's just because I'm just used to it. I bowl with the guys because I'm not gonna give up on bowling in off season because I love the game. I'm gonna bowl even if I might not find myself successful. But a lot of guys throw urethane on fresh, and then it breaks down lanes so much different because on top of creating more carry down and making the lanes like easier towards the end because it creates push, right? They're gonna be staying farther right, but far left enough to work to create that push. So if you get there close to them, you're gonna use whatever they're doing there to your advantage too, right? When you have a lot of like 500, 1000 surface balls coming down the lane on fresh, and massive big balls, a lot of surface, and you have them kind of everywhere, it's very difficult. Or even if you have them in the same spot, then you're gonna get the cliff. It's just sometimes it's very difficult to see how the lanes are gonna break down, and you have to be very good at seeing it, understanding it, and making moves. And that's definitely something that everybody can get better at.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my final topic for the night is urethane, especially with what the USBC came out and said a day or two ago. A lot of people are weighing into this. I know you kind of took the ambassador route and didn't give your opinion on Facebook, but here's your opportunity right now if you wanted to weigh in on it. Do you want to see urethane get banned, or where do you stand on that line? Do you try to stay in the middle and not really give an opinion one way or the other? But
I can tell you what's in my head when I think about urethane, and it's going to be a very different perspective of what others know or think. Urethane had ruined bowling in Europe. Europe, bowling is not fun anymore. And I'm just saying it because in 2020, my US visa was declined. So I could not make it back to the US. So I did live in Poland for some time, and I was bowling all the European tour events and stuff. 20 out of 20 and top finals, urethane. And the problem is that usually women don't have our own tournament in Europe other than European championships, right? So we have the European bowling tour, but that's when women bowl with men because there's not enough women to have our own tournament. So they put us together. And in order to give us a chance, we get 8 pins of handicap. It's always been a thing, there was never a problem until a lot of professionals came up on a European tour and started winning because, those girls are good and they get 8 pins. Like, the guys are going to get upset. Yeah. But those 8 pins were enough to where they would give a little bit of a chance for you to make the cut or snack a check, right? So imagine now I'm 15, let's say. I'm bowling a tournament in Europe. I get 8 pins. I look at the rack and all I see is urethane. I cannot beat them with my urethane, being 15, slower, less revs. Right. I cannot roll reactive because that's jail. So where do I go? Nowhere. It's no chance, right? When you watch at the European Championships, every single rack is disgusting. It's urethane, right? I believe in my heart that Europeans right now have gotten the best in the world at throwing urethanes. And that's why World Youth Championships, a lot of Europeans had won medals using urethane because that's all they throw. And even my mom, who is 63 years old, she bowls with the guy. She's like, "Oh, I need a second urethane." I was like, "Mom, why you need a urethane? You have 22 referee. What are you talking about? You already have the urethane that hooks a lot. Like, why we want?" It's like, "Oh, because she has urethane too, and she has 3, and it has ruined the sport as I know it in Europe." Okay. In the US, I'm not seeing it as much, right? I see how it impacts. But maybe I'm not seeing it as much because on PWBA tour, we bowl on very old surfaces when fronts hook a lot. And we don't really use urethane ever. Like, I wish I could throw urethane because my first 2 games would be a lot higher if I can control it a bit better. But many times we can because the surface is so old to where like the ball gets offline right away. There's very little times when we can. So saying that, I don't have that experience in the US as a lot of people, guys on tour as well, might have. I don't know if it should be banned. It's kind of like you give a person something and then that thing exists and then you take it back, right? Like, alcohol in the past, right? Did it stop people from drinking? No, it didn't. I feel like there's gonna be maybe tournaments like no USBC, urethane only tournament. There's gonna be a way to where people are gonna snap back at the idea. I feel like in some ways it should be regulated. I do hope that the urethane rule is gonna come to Europe, the 78 hardness. I feel like that would already even out the field. And I did see comment that Anthony Simonson made on his Facebook saying that he doesn't see many advantages of the urethane. He sees a lot of disadvantages, and that a lot of kids and a lot of youth that are just entering the sport, they really don't have touch anymore. And that is so true. I can totally see it. I can feel it that once the urethane is not in play, a lot of players don't really know what to do because they no longer know how to control the reactive ball.
Sorry, I'm trying to find. There we go. Simo's trying to find it. You're right. Simo said today, what benefits does a urethane ball bring to the sport of bowling? I know a negative. 99% of the people under the age of 25 have zero touch. Ball hooks too much. Grab a urethane ball. Ball doesn't hook enough. Grab a urethane ball. Maybe if urethane gets banned, the youth of today will learn how to bowl again. That's a pretty broad statement to say. I mean, there's a lot of great bowlers out there. But that's his opinion. He's obviously one of the best in the world. I've seen both sides of the aisle. Jacob Buttriff weighed in and he's like, I wish I could throw, other stuff. The way he throws it, sometimes he has to throw urethane just because of his release and his style and his rev rate. But then you see guys like EJ, who has a ridiculous rev rate for traditional one-handed bowler. Throws resin all the time. So it's very subjective, and it just depends on what side of the argument you're on. There's valid points for either side. But I can see what you're saying on the women's side because of the fact that, one, you said, the lane surfaces are older. You guys don't play in a lot of the premier centers that the men do. But I still think it has a place in the game. I don't necessarily think that, because you can't tell me Kyle Troop isn't one of the best in the world, but if he only has a look with urethane, or if Jesper only has a look with urethane, it has nothing to do with how good they are. That's just the motion that works best for them for that pattern. So this conversation has been going on for at least 5 years now, since it kind of first started with the banning of the balls. And to me, if it's already there and it's been there and it's been proven, and there's a lot of money in it for the ball manufacturers, it's going to hurt them if you take it away.
Do you think so? You don't think people would buy more reactive balls?
The patterns would have to change. Something with the oil patterns or the amount of oil put down, something has to change to kind of make it a level field for everybody. Especially with like Johnny and I being left-handed. Not that many lefties are on tour. We're not going to have the same look as the righties, so we need to have some kind of an equalizer to get the shape and the motion that we want. So I don't know if you take it away, if people buy more resin, or maybe they will have to get better. Maybe they will have to learn to manipulate their hand differently, or speed up the ball, or slow down the ball, or do something that they normally wouldn't do because they have a crutch like urethane. So it's a very touchy subject, depending on who you ask. And there's people who are very passionate about it, just like string bowling and everything else. People don't like change.
I don't think it's a touchy subject. It's a subject that we have, and it's not like avoiding it. It doesn't change anything, right? And I don't think it's touchy, because if you truly believe it should not be banned, you just say it should not be banned and give your, whether it makes people upset or no, it doesn't really matter. You still have to talk about what you think, right? And in one way or the other. I think everybody understands that if the urethanes were used when they were supposed to be used, we would not have a problem. I would not have a problem if suddenly on 47-foot pattern, all the highest scorers of the tournament take out urethanes, right? The problem is, like Europe, what if 47 out of 50 people playing have urethane on the rack, and only urethane? Where does the game go? It's not exciting to watch anymore. I was watching European Youth Championships in 2021. Every single person threw urethane. Every single one, girl and guys. It's no fun to watch it because you don't even see them manipulated that much anymore, because I think the perception changed. In the past, the good players had to really learn how to manipulate the urethane to make it do what it couldn't really do. Like, this ball has limitations, right?
Right.
I think that the problem of the past is how to do more, how to give more, how to make it more. The problem of now is like how to give less, how to have a less reaction down lane. And that's why urethanes are so good, because if you catch the reactive the way you can catch urethane, reactive is going to hook 3 times as much or be 3 times as sensitive to the panels, to the lanes. So this argument can go for on and on, but the truth is that urethane game from the past is not the same as urethane game from now, because the benefits are exactly opposite, right? Whether it should be banned or not, I'm not the one to know, I will bow whether it will be banned or it won't be banned.
It's the most genuine answer you could possibly get, because listen, everybody's going to talk about banning urethane because it changes the game. It doesn't matter the pattern. Urethane reads the front part of the lane regardless whether it's 30 feet or 50 feet. It doesn't matter. And at some point, just like the transition from rubber to plastic or resin to proactive or particle or whatever it was, now we're just kind of circling back again. They're trying to level out the playing field to almost balance out the next generation of studs, just like golf, just like bodybuilding. Daria, going to bring up bodybuilding again. Ronnie Coleman, the legend. Jay Cutler comes back in 9 and 10, wins after losing after winning twice. Lee Haney, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They learn a little bit more from what's in front of them. They adapt a little bit more to what's presented to them. And when it comes to urethane, the biggest issue is it levels the playing field for everybody on that end of the coin. On the opposite side, there's bowlers that hate urethane. It doesn't match up to what they like to see. It doesn't match up to what they like to do. But I'll tell you right now, dude, it's whatever it is, at least it's giving a little bit of a spark to the bowling world in the respect that, hey, we're second guessing the ultra talent when it comes to this ball, because now all of a sudden I love Jacob Buttroff and I would put him against anybody in the world. But everybody that has half a brain wants to talk about the fact that he only did it with urethane. Whereas somebody like Sean Resch, who's also one of the best bowlers in the world, stays away from urethane. Tommy Jones is a perfect mix of everything they give me, whether it's urethane or resin. Pete Weber said, I'm going to be excellent in every single decade. Walter Ray Williams Jr. woke up one day after winning with every single kind of ball and said, I'm going to try two-handed at 60. It's all when it all comes down to it, if you're really just be like water. Bruce Lee said it better than anybody in the world. When water hits a rock in the middle of a stream, it goes left or right. It never stops. It can't stop. It just goes. It just flows with whatever it's telling you to do, and you either adapt to it and evolve or you die. It's period, end of story. And I like the idea that everybody's talking about the banning of urethane. I like the idea because it's at least getting a little bit more interest in the entire world of bowling at every single level. It's cool to me to listen to one of the best in the world talk about it the way that you're talking about it, Daria. It's awesome. And we're not afraid to talk about it out loud. And if I'm spitting like I always do, typically, Ocho actually asked me to put this mask on. But I won't. It's too
you don't know what's in there. You don't know what's in there.
Too beautiful for me to put on.
Yeah, that, and I wouldn't trust
really what's actually happening.
We don't know where he's been, so I wouldn't do that.
But also keep in mind, you have kept this woman here for 90 minutes now.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it is time to wrap it up, Daria. We absolutely appreciate you being here. We've been wanting to get you on the show for quite some time now. I was at Smyrna Bowling Center in Smyrna, Tennessee last year, visiting Nate and Elise Bolton, good friends of the show, and I was watching you bowl, and I was watching you interact with people and how calm and polite and nice you are. I didn't personally want to bother you, while you're bowling. I don't think anybody should approach the bowlers during the qualifying or the tournament. But I'm glad I actually got a chance to talk to you tonight because I've been wanting to do it for quite some time now. I've been a big fan of you and your game, and the insight that you had tonight was really remarkable. And we say it every week, Johnny. Every time we have somebody on the show, every show just seems to get a little bit better because we learn so much more because there's so many different perspectives from people that love the sport of bowling. And I personally, since I've been bowling since I've been 6 years old, and I'm almost 50. I love the sport. Not as good as everybody else, but it's still something that I have fond memories of ever since I was a little kid. And to see your passion for that sport, we really need more people like you as ambassadors for the sport because of your love for the game.
Yeah, I really like it. So I think that's what fuels me, and I wish that I can pass it on to a lot of people because I know sometimes we all struggle with, losing it a bit, but I enjoy it.
So, what do you got coming up? You're bowling up.
Rob, I'm going to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Daria, I have two very good friends, Dave and Justin. And Justin's son, his name is Julian. I think his name in here is like loves bananas. He's like 8 years old. But I know that he's listening tonight, and I promised him I would tell you that he's one of your biggest fans. So I just wanted to throw that out.
And he's a big fan right now. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I love the work that you do. Keep on doing it. It helps bowling, and it's super nice to speak with you, and have a different and listening to different people that you have on the show. I actually just listened to Kyle Troop. I really liked his show as well. So keep doing the good work, and I'm sure our paths are gonna cross again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daria.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Have a great night. Good luck this weekend at Lucy.
Thank you. Yeah, send many, many strikes.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
Have a good night. Thank you, Daria.
Thanks, girl.
Man, what a class act.
Another fabulous guest, dude. Just talking real, doing shit. It's amazing. And someday, somehow, we will get Tammy Turner on this show. Tammy, been in love with you since I was like 6. Can you please come on the show? Tammy Turner. If anybody wants to talk,
paging Tammy Turner,
please find her and get her ass on the show for me.
Chuck, hook us up. Chuck hooks us up with
come on, Chuck.
People. Get on it, Chuck. No, Daria's fantastic. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know a lot about her early years. I didn't know the fact that bowling didn't come over to Poland until 1999. Can you imagine that, dude? Like, it's been here since the Stone Age, right? Like, it's like we take so much for granted here in the U.S. Where
I'll tell you one thing about her bowling game, and then I'm actually going to sign off and feed it to you. What's cool about somebody who's not from here is her gentle nature about adapting to what she's surrounded by and just committing to it.
She had no knowledge of like
her genuine happiness to be here. The same way I want to go to Malaysia or China and learn how to throw a helicopter.
Right.
She has no qualms with anything here. She's adapting to what she's been thrown into. She talked about being too steep in the backswing. She talked about being a little bit different than most of the players, the same way Leanne Barrett, Leanne Hulsenberg, Dee Dee Davidson, Wendy McPherson, Liz Johnson, they were all in a certain spot, but a little bit different than everybody else. And that's what makes you special, and Daria special. And the fact that she's aware of what she needs to work on makes her even more badass. And Rob, thank you so much for working on Daria and finally getting her.
I put a lot of work in. Yeah, not a problem, brother. She's so good. I such a pleasure to talk to, and obviously very easy on the eyes.
Good person,
as some of our chat had mentioned, but she's great. And like I said, we need more women like her to carry the torch. And dude, can you imagine if, let's just say 5 years from now, more women start throwing it like her? They want to be her. Like people want to be like
Rad Rob. It's already happening.
It is happening.
Kelly Kulick kind of started it, and Michelle Feldman. I mean, we had the CDBs and like Carolyn Doran Ballard is Walter Ray, Liz Johnson's Norm Duke, Kelly Kulik is Pete Weber.
But
Daria
outliers.
is like who's a little bit deeper and like the same accuracy type stuff, you know? And just like anything else, the sport's going to evolve and the best are always going to be at the top. And we just had one of the best ambassadors the sport can ever see. And what a pleasure it was. And thank you so much for the work you did tonight with that.
Yes, sir.
And on that note, let's close it out. And please let everybody know about the fair before I go. Everybody, in case you're curious.
Do we have to tonight?
Oh, yeah.
All right. The Union County Fair, I'm not sure when it is, but it's I can't why do you make me do this? Union County, nothing compares to the Union County Fair. Check out just Google the Union County Fair and see when I'm sure nothing compares to it. So we all have to go there at some point. Unless it's already happened this year and you got to wait till next year. I
also need to for my sign off, because I did make a promise to a very special lady tonight. I do. Anna Carmela. She won't tell me her last name, but it starts with a P. But Anna Carmela, do me a favor and at least send me a text message, because I did announce you in front of the entire world, and all I want to do is take you to dinner one more time. All right, Rad Rob, do your thing.
On that note, guys, next week, Johnny, let them know who we got next week. A good friend of yours from
next week. We have Rocio Restrepo next week from Colombia. I hope I did that awesome. We have one of my favorite human beings on the planet next week. I can't say anything other than, if you haven't seen, I know Ocho would kill me for saying double jointed. I don't know the actual medical term about it. Hypermobility.
Thanks, Ocho.
But watching Rocio talk to anybody and watching her bowl, and I cannot wait for everybody in here to remember what it's like to be surrounded by people that are just nothing but class and got back to back, starting with Amanda Moore and all the way into Rocio. So
yeah, we didn't plan on it, but I mean, that's 3 women in a row. It's like it's like International Women's Week here on Women's Month.
International Awesome Week is what it is, with Murderer's Row of talent, brains, and just straight awesome. And somehow, some way, you keep finding them, we keep finding them, and we keep doing our shit, man. It's awesome.
I won't take credit for any of that, but I appreciate it. And speaking of Amanda Moore, if you're watching this now, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, on all podcast platforms and YouTube, subscribe to Reset and Rise podcasts. Amanda is telling her life story, starting at the beginning, and we're going to be talking about mental health and anxiety. And dude, once you hear what she went through since 7 years old, you won't bitch about anything in your life ever again. I promise you. Reset and Rise.
And even if you do still bitch, you'll at least have an avenue to change it, to figure it out, which is
fair.
The coolest thing in the world. We love Amanda, and her story is relatable and awesome. So thank you again.
It is. Yes, sir. So that's Reset and Rise to the Unbreakable with Amanda Moore. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. And any podcast app that you have, it'll be on there tomorrow morning at 8. So, Johnny, I appreciate you as always. Ocho, I know you're laying there in the background somewhere, you sneaky bitch. And Cousin Cinco, we appreciate Cousin Cinco as well. We'll be back next week with Ro Restrepo for continuing our International Women's Month here on Straight Up 5. We will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightup5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob